Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Karate, roll call.
Mr. Armando?
Present.
Mrs. Morelli?
Present.
Mr. Civillo?
Present.
Mr. Quinn?
Present.
Mrs. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez? Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Whitney?
Present.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Present.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. I'd like to open the meeting to the public. Motion.
So moved.
Second. And wish to speak? If you close the meeting. Second. I could just bring up, they had a dedication to Cameron's Courtyard today at Franklin School, which was, it looks beautiful. I'd just like to thank some of the people that helped out, Brian from landscaping, John Tui, Eric Casello, with the Southbrook Garden, was James Ciliento. They did a great job. It looks beautiful. If you get a chance to go over there and look at it, it came out real nice. Yeah, Mr. Rashid was there, Ms. Zattarelli, Civil, Mr. Lee. But that's, thank you. Mr. Ferrari?
Thank you, President Armando. This evening I have the minutes from September, the bill list, and Board Secretary and Treasurer's reports. I need a motion.
Can I get a motion? Any discussion on that? Roll call.
Mrs. Morelli?
Yes.
Mr. Civillo?
Yes.
Check 52395.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes, abstain, check number 52374, first off.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Whitney?
Abstain from 4A. Yes, there it is.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Yes.
Mr. Armando?
Yes.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrari. Hey, can we get the report from Bianca, Erin, and Kia?
Before we move in that direction, I'd just like to say that the student liaison program coming from student council I met with today with Mr. Lawler, and I'm very happy to announce that we have 27 to 28 young people that are interested in doing this. So we're going to have 3 different representatives each month that are going to share information with us. So I'm really happy about that, and I know they are too. So we'd like to, again, just want to introduce them. I learned how to say the names, I think. So I just want to make sure I got it right. Erin Yurkovich, Bianca Asienza, and Kia Yalong. And remember, 2 of them were with us last year. So Kia is going to be the first presenter this evening. So Kia, go ahead.
Saddlebrook Middle School / High School hosted its annual student elections yesterday in partnership with the Township Clerk's Office and Bergen County Superintendent of Elections. Thank you to all the students who are seeking to improve our school by taking on leadership roles, and congratulations to the winners. Middle School Student Council President John Bautista, Vice President Emma Lee, Secretary Ava Parisi. Freshman class officers, President Kelly Power, Vice President Natalie Cristancho, Secretary Gianna LaFleur, Treasurer Jessica Denite. Sophomore class officers, President Natalie Travisano, Vice President Carolina Proscovo, Secretary Zibestan Zidan, Treasurer Justin County. Junior class officers, President Kiara Patron, Vice President Zach Costango, Secretary Anuj Patel, Treasurer Angelica Parisi, Senior class officers, President Selena Fastini, and Vice President Stephanie Mazursky. High School Student Council, President Aaron Jurkevich, Vice President Kiara Patron, Secretary Cassandra Faber, Treasurer Nicholas DeVito. Special thanks to Pete Lodico, Saddlebrook Township Clerk, and Rita Galligan of the Bergen County Superintendent of Elections Office, community volunteers, and our Physical Education Department for helping facilitate this event. The Middle School Student Council and Interact Club, led by Ms. Oros and Ms. Capoon, helped raise more than $4,800 to benefit Liberty and Kingwood high schools in Texas, which were damaged by Hurricane Harvey. All juniors and sophomores took the PSAT last week as part of our school's goal of improving students' college readiness. The guidance department is hosting 8th grade parent night at High School 101 on Thursday, November 2nd to inform parents of the programs and services available at Saddlebrook High School. Athletics, Mr. Ionello would like to acknowledge and thank the SBHS football program for participating in Friday Night Lights Knockout Opioid Abuse Program. Congratulations to Ashley Georgievich on being selected as the NGIC Girls Soccer Player of the Week. Mia Lopez and Alexis Adams were also mentioned as being among the leaders in the NGIC conference. The following dates will be our Senior Day games: boys soccer, October 18th, volleyball, October 19th, football and football cheer and marching band, October 21st, and girls soccer, October 25th. Saddlebrook High School athletic teams will be wearing pink to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Please come support all our athletic teams as they prepare for their state tournament play. Okay, now our report on Franklin Elementary School. We started our bucket filing initiative and character awards for the month. Good character is popping up everywhere at Franklin. We met in our multi-grade families and completed lessons on the first 2 character traits that we focus on: responsibility and respect. Each student colored a template of a crayon, and we displayed the boxes of crayons in our stairwells along with the tagline, "We are a box of crayons. Each and every one of us is unique, but when we get together, the picture is complete." Our kindergarten and first grade students thoroughly enjoyed a close-up look of our fire trucks. Thank you to the Saddlebrook Fire Department for celebrating Fire Prevention Week with us. Our PTO is sponsoring a Kindness Rocks night where we will get together to paint rocks with messages of kindness on them. The hope is to display these rocks in our memorial for Nurse Kenny. Karen's courtyard is almost complete. Thank you to Brian Anthony Landscaping for volunteering their time, energy, and dedication to this program. John Tugney and his workers have made this a personal project for them and our community. We are forever grateful. Dedication ceremony will be sometime during the week of October 16th.
Thank you so much. It was very informative. Oh, okay, sorry.
Long Elementary School teachers are excited to begin using new teaching resources for reading and science. We have been working with the PTO to schedule many new events for this year. The PTO recently sponsored a Bergen Rocks event where the students came in to paint rocks with positive meanings on them. The Long Memorial School Class of 2017 Legacy Garden has been established at the front of our school. 6th grade parents have gathered to start planning for a class of 2018. We kicked off the activities for the month of October with the Week of Respect essay contest. Later this week, we will host Pinwheels for Peace and our 2nd annual Unity Day event. And lastly, the Helen I. Smith School came together to wrap up the Week of Respect with an all-school assembly introducing our Smith Spotlight. This school-wide initiative recognized students who go above and beyond, demonstrating kindness and strong character. Each month, we will be recognizing different students from each homeroom. In September, we had our first back-to-school bash sponsored by the PTO. It was a great evening filled with games, activities, and dancing. This year, we kicked off the beginning of reading workshop classes with our annual readathon. The readathon is a fun way to help students develop good habits and build reading stamina in and out of school. And that is thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. And again, as I explained, if you would like to stay for the next presentation, you can. If you have some work to do at home and studying, please feel free to exit the building. It's okay. I just want to mention for a few moments also about the wonderful ceremony at Franklin School today for Miss Karen Kenny, the new garden that's there. And it really came out remarkable. And kudos to our principal, Ms. Violetti, for doing a wonderful ceremony. It was nice to see the family there, the people who were responsible, as Dr. Mondo was talking about, that were responsible for putting this together, the teachers involved. And overall, I just feel it's a very, very nice thing for the community. And if you have not been there, I urge you to take a walk or a ride over and take a look at it. And please feel free to sit there and just kind of, a good place to practice mindfulness or just to relax. So please do that. And again, I was very happy to see, besides myself and Mr. Karate there, we had numerous staff members, board members were there. So it was a very nice community event. So thank you for that. On Monday, I spoke about presentations for this evening when I gave my report. And I did talk about QSAC and some other topics with PARC and so forth. So tonight, as I told you, we have two presentations. So the first presentation is based on the new report cards in the elementary schools. And I'm not going to say too much about it, but I'm going to introduce two of our principals from the elementary schools, Jane Ellen Van Jenkins from Long School, and I call our newbie, is Deborah Wonder from Smith School. We'll give a brief presentation on that.
Yeah, we can sit, the board members can sit in the front.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for providing us an opportunity to share with you a little bit of the Standard Space report card presentation that we presented to parents back on October 3rd. Mrs. Violetti and Mrs. Wonder and myself had an opportunity, really, that was the first time to introduce our community as an elementary school principal team, so we were enjoying that time with parents. We began by explaining a little bit of the philosophy and the purpose of Standard Space report cards, and we shared with parents the links to New Jersey Student Learning Standards. We explained that by moving towards a Standard Space report card, our teachers and our children are really going to be able to identify key areas of instruction and what those expectations for achievement are. And we shared specifically the link, like that blue New Jersey Student Learning Standards is a link to the state website, and we have that link up there for parents. We also explained that our new report card design began last school year. Our teachers worked in communities with each other. Volunteers were solicited by the English Language Arts supervisor and our math and science supervisor, and they worked throughout the spring to prepare for the report cards. They looked at some best practices in other districts and developed benchmark rubrics that also go along with that. And as we're moving to Standard Space report cards, we are also shifting to trimesters. Our report cards will go out in December, March, and June, and the purpose of doing so is so that we have a longer period of time for quality instruction as we're moving our students towards a growth model. We also are going to institute new character education honors and awards, and you heard a little bit of that in the student reports tonight. And part of the reason for that is we will retain numerical averages in mathematics, so the standards-based report card isn't going to have traditional letter grades, and so there isn't going to be a traditional honor roll in our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade because we wouldn't have those type of grades for an honor roll. But we are replacing with other incentives and character recognition in our schools, and we see that as an area that we can continue to develop. Our school counselors have been working with the principals, and teachers have been discussing that in faculty meetings, and we are presenting that to students. And when we shift to trimesters and we talk about reporting our grades, we will look for evidence in some of our referring notes and our assessments, anecdotal notes, work samples, and the activities that the students in class. Like I mentioned, in terms of rubric connection, the rubrics are also up on the district website. They've been up there since June for parents to be able to review. We sent out information through e-blast before school ended last year. We also talked a little bit about that and gave some preview to that at back to school nights, and then again we'll be presenting on October 3rd. We explained to parents that in a standards-based report card, you will see grades that will say NS for need support, and approaching standard would be like an AS on a report card, meeting standard would be an MS, and exceeding standard would be an ES. And then we went on to explain what it really means to meet standards or exceed standards or approach standards. And we have this analogy about riding a bike, and I'm going to let Ms. Wonder pick up from here.
So one of the best ways to kind of relate this is to look at it from something that we would know. What we're trying to do is instead of talking about earning an A or a 98, we're looking at what standards the students need to be hitting. So when you think about it, this is the standard you want to meet, and it's something that you would be able to do independently and consistently. So for an example that everyone can understand or easily relate to would be riding a bike. So your goal is to ride a two-wheel bike consistently and independently. That would be meeting standard. If we think about it from that perspective, going back a little bit, when you're chasing behind them as a parent, holding on and kind of releasing, but then grabbing back on, or they have their training wheels, they're getting towards that goal of riding a bike on their own, but they're not there yet. So that would be the approaching standard score at that point. If you look at the very beginning, when they're just kind of looking at the idea of going on the bike, kind of sitting on it, you're helping them, you're approaching it, that's the very beginning for the need support. So you've got those two, and then of course the child who has not only mastered the standard or is meeting it, but now exceeds it would be a kid in a bike that's consistently popping wheelies and doing tricks with no issues, and that would be our exceeding the standard. This is what some of our report cards will look like. We took parts of it and part of the rubric. So what you can see on top, let's see if I can get this to work. So in the center is just a snapshot of what you would see for the English language arts part of the report card. And you can see the D, M, and the J. That would indicate December, March, and June for our marking periods as we move to trimesters. What you're looking at with the standards is you're not going to be getting grades. You're looking at different things like reads independently at grade level, demonstrates stamina during independent reading, uses a variety of strategies to code words, and you can go down and see how the language arts breaks down for reading and writing. Behind it are some pieces of the actual rubrics. We didn't put up the entire rubric because it's a large document, but what you can see is there are things like recognizing sight words up top, and each trimester that will look different. So the expectation is different. So in the beginning of the year, first trimester, the need support would be a student who recognizes 30 or fewer sight words on this assessment. Now, if you go towards the second trimester, the expectation raises. So you want to look at the meet standard. So was this a third grade, I think? Yeah. A model? This was a third grade model. So really what the meeting standard would be a student who's recognizing 51 to 60 words. Then second trimester, the expectation has changed to meet meeting standard would be 70 to 87 words. So that was an example from our rubric of what the teachers are looking at. So there's a lot of information that the teachers are going to be using to make these assessments with our students. So it's not just averaging test scores anymore. It's really looking at every standard and what our students are displaying in the classroom through all the different work they're doing. So in order to explain that a little bit more, another visual would be the idea of our expectations change throughout the year. So as we were showing with sight words at the beginning of the year, first trimester, the students are expected to read up to 60 sight words to meet the standard. That shifts to closer to 80 second trimester. So it's just like when you're learning to drive a car. When you first start off in that first trimester, you're signing up, you're taking the written test. That's the expectation to meeting the standard. In the second trimester, you're doing your driving course and you're practicing and doing those pieces, and that's what would be expected for you meeting your standard. And of course, at the very end of the year, your third trimester meeting standard would then be getting your license. So while the standard will stay the same, the expectation each trimester shifts. And a way to kind of to illustrate this even more is if you look at math. This is an example of one of the math parts of the report card. You can see areas that are shaded in. Those are parts that would not be scored during that trimester because that's not a skill they would be hitting at that point. The others would be all year. In math, in 5th and 6th grade, they will still be getting a number trimester average. So that is something that we've kept as part of it. So they will get their standard scores, but in addition, they will get a trimester average. This is, we are still generating, they're finalizing the report cards. This is what it will look like. They will look very similar to what they previously looked like, but it is standards-based. And there's also, this is the math piece, but you will also have behaviors that support learning that we'll be looking at through those 3 trimesters. So that's our report card information. This will eventually be online, and you can click the different links and see different pieces of information. That's going to be shifting. Our focus is shifting to why we're doing the character education, because without grades, it's a different perspective. They're not going to be getting those types of averages just in math, but we will continue to do the character education spotlight going forward. Yeah?
How affiliated with assessment professional and special cases are going to be at IEP?
Just some stranger who likes to speak.
Director of Special Services, thank you all for coming, and I want to congratulate my colleagues on a job well done. Obviously, in terms of special education and children who are eligible, the IEP, the Individualized Education Plan, really tells a story about the students' individual needs, strengths, and abilities. So the standards-based report card is really just one data point. So oftentimes students have a variety of needs and strengths. So in some areas they may be approaching, some areas they may be meeting, in some areas they still might be in the area of needing a lot of support. So each will depend on the student and the area being measured.
So, we support that in that with a great student who have to be well learned on. You're going to create a profile.
In terms of that specifically, I would say that that's characterized as approaching the standard. Okay? Because you're still shooting for that goal and you're teaching those foundational skills in order to attain that one specific standard.
Basically, we're still looking from. That's the important. The piece of this that really makes sense is if you look at any of the state assessments, that's how they grade. You don't get, a student got an 85, a student got an A, it doesn't exist. So what we're trying to do is make exactly what happens in the classroom match what's happening on the assessments. So that's important. Also, there's always that discrepancy. Many times, parents will come in and say, my son's been getting an A in English for 3 years now, and yet when we took the assessment, state assessment, they're not scoring sufficiently. So this is going to try to keep us all on the same page where we're moving along and what level we're actually at. So hopefully the theory is a little bit more complicated to look at. We understand that. We also know that teachers might have some difficulty because there's a lot of work here. The good news here is that they have to do it 3 times a year as opposed to 4 times. So, but it's still quite intense.
And all those rubrics are online, so you can see exactly what's being marked. And all that work is a very comprehensive document, and you can find on our curriculum tab.
I would just, I would also just, like to say, like, being a parent on the receiving end of students who are graded through standard space report cards in my own community, I'm getting much more specific information regarding their achievement. I mean, even an A can be very ambiguous as an average, because even an A average can be factored in past class participation, that they always hand in their homework, but that doesn't always display what specific skill do they need help and support in. And I felt last year with my own homeschool district with the standard space report cards, like I really have concrete information now that I know my children need a little extra help with. It's much more detailed, and I feel like much more informed as a parent.
And I just want to, I know one of the big concerns is the honor roll or use. I think maybe eventually we can revisit this, but right now let's live with the document the way it is, see how it shakes out, and then eventually we can come up with something that matches that. We can go back to that. But I think right now we really need to focus on the achievement. That's what we're doing. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next topic. So we're going to move on to the park scores. That was taken last year. You know, that's it feels like forever. But there was, initially there was a lot of anxiety about park. Things have calmed down. If I can say anything positive about park, is the fact that the information that we get back is very useful. So it kind of pinpoints where the weaknesses are, where the strengths are, and it kind of relates to what we're doing with the report card. So we know when Johnny comes into class, Sally's in the classroom, we're trying to help them. We already know where some of the issues are. So we can tailor our instruction based on what we're doing and where we want to do. Hopefully that helps out. So there's going to be a lot of information now. We are required to do this every year, but even when we weren't, my past district is something that I always wanted to share, even back when I was tester, and whatever other tests that were being taken at that time. But certainly, we have a very good PowerPoint presentation, and the principals will present that information as well. So, Mr. Waller from the middle school, high school.
Thank you, Mr. Rashid. Good evening, everybody. The slideshow is about 30 to 40 slides. So what we try to do really is to kind of filter this, condense it, and process it, present it in a very understandable fashion for you to get back across the gang. As Mr. Rashid said, this data is from year 3 of Park. Grades 3 through 11 for language arts take the test, and for math, it's grades 3 through 8, and alpha 1, 2, and geometry. Before we go into the numbers a little bit, first of all, it's a lot of good news, so I'll just start with that. So we're going into a very positive presentation here. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the people behind the numbers and really about the logistics of testing at middle high school. March Madness, we think about the basketball tournament. It's madness in the middle high school testing. We administer 4 standardized tests in 1 month. You can see for Park, there's 5 grades. A typical high school is administered 3 grades. A typical middle school maybe 2 or 3. So with 5 grades testing, that's about 30 sessions. The numbers are unbelievable. It truly is a logistical puzzle. I really want to thank the folks behind really building that schedule. It's Brenda and Dave. Dr. Santoro really does a great job, and special education staff, and really ensuring that all accommodations are met for students with special needs for this test. And we got it done in 2 weeks. And also like to thank the board for continuing to support the addition of more and more technology, because that really does help make the process a lot more efficient and get it done in the best time for interruptions. Simultaneously during Park, we're also administering the advanced placement exams. We had 96 kids take the test last year for 11 courses for 2 weeks. Each test is 4 hours. And you can see that the majority of our students that take the classes are now taking the test, and the results are getting better and better every year. So a percentage of students that are earning 3 scores or 5s is going up. That's what we really want to see. The one that really does the heavy lifting on the advanced placement is Mark Benito. She's one of our high school guidance counselors. She does a great job making sure that kids have everything they need to be successful. Also during May, we administer administer, this was the last year that we administered the biology and force test. This year we had 192 kids taking the test, which is a big jump from previous years as we redesigned our high school graduation requirements. That was a paper-based test administered towards the end of the month. But you can see, despite having a lot more students taking the test, our numbers of advanced proficiency in biology did go up last year. Again, this test will be replaced by something else this year. Not only to Ms. Benito that does this test as well, but to the biology teachers, and two of them are here tonight, so I recognize them. Christy Albert and the former biology teacher, soon to be supervisor. Not yet. I don't want to jump the gun, but it does a great job with the biology kids in the test, and they did fantastic. Also, finally, the last standardized test administered during May, around the same time as biology, is the NJS science for 8th graders. We had 151 kids take that test, and really kudos to Ms. Ellen Josephson, 8th grade science teacher. She does a lot of work on the schedule for the 8th grade science test. So, and really to everybody, to the faculty, the flexibility during testing, classes are displays, people have to cover classes, they have to prop their tests, and really, for most importantly, for preparing our kids for success, which you can see not only on the AP science test, but on PARC as well. So, fantastic job across the board. This year, in PARC, in 2017, we sustained improvement. Our language arts 5 tested grades, 4 to 5 exceeded state averages. The same group that didn't exceed state averages last year, or 2 years ago, also not last year, so it's a group we're working on. 2 of the grades had significant numbers of students do at least 1 point higher than they did the previous year. 2 grades maintained around status quo, and then we had 1 grade in language arts. Again, more students went down a level than went up, so it's something that is on our radar, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Math, we made tremendous strides this year. Middle school math never exceeded state averages, and we really saw tremendous growth in Algebra 1, reducing levels 1 and 2. Keep in mind, the PARC is evaluated on a 5-point scale. We reduced levels 1 and 2 by 19% in year 3. The state maintained essentially the status quo, reducing levels 1 and 2. Also, increasing the levels 4 and 5 by 9% compared to the state of 1%. So, really making strides in mathematics, which is something we wanted to see in year 3. And really a lot of the credit goes to our 3 Algebra 1 teachers. It's Craig Roselli, Brett Gross, Diane Summers, and also Tracy Romo as well. So we got 4 teachers. So they did a fantastic job really lining up the standards, instruction, and the expectations on the part. And lastly, we're really proud of our participation rate part. We once again exceeded the 95% participation rate required by the state. And that's really goes into the buy-in not only the staff to communicate the importance of the kids, but also from the community and the parents being very supportive of this test as well. So you open up the record, you see lots of towns across the county are being sanctioned because they don't have participation rates in PARC. And we're really proud to see that our students are really taking it seriously and doing the best. Finally, we'd also like to add that the class of 2017, when it graduated last June, all students 100% satisfied their graduation requirement for standardized testing in PARC, or through portfolio or the alternative assessments. So everybody passed for standardized testing. So a lot of good things going on. We'll kind of dive in a little bit more deep into some of the numbers, but before that, I'm going to turn it over to some highlights with the schools.
So the PARC scores come in the summer, and we actually started to review some of this with Mr. Lehman before he left, and then we picked up the torch for him. And we are excited to see some of our colleagues move into these positions and join us with PARC Educated next year as they get their promotions here in the week. And we will be very happy to share with you that a lot of the work that Mrs. Steiner and Mr. Lehman have been doing with our elementary school teachers is beginning to show great fruition with the adoption of Readers and Learners Workshop and moving into Conquer Math training with our Go Math series. And these are just some highlights of the PARC results for this year. So we are seeing at the elementary school level that our students achieved 4 or 5, which means meet or exceeding expectations at a rate higher than state average in grades 4, 5, and 6 in both math and language arts. The areas in grade 3 are an area that we might want to drill down on this particular year. The interesting thing about elementary school performance is that it has been relatively consistent, where you see a spike in achievement and growth at the high school level. Our elementary schools kind of came in and are achieving very close to where we would have expected. So you might see like a little bump up and down in a particular grade level, but we are very excited to see 4, 5, and 6 across the board, 4, 5, and 6 and ELA at a rate higher than state average. All of the elementary school grades results trend upward. The district showing increases in students performing 4 or 5 or meet or exceed expectations from 16 to 17. So across the board in language arts, our students are raising their performance over time, and we look at that as a cohort. And then last year, if we looked at our presentation, you would see that Mr. Lehman shared with us that there was a trend for the rising class, was our elementary school class in 2017 last year, that typically you may see a dip as math becomes more challenging. Sometimes test scores for elementary students, you may see like lower performance over time. But what we saw was increased performance over time, and they did it back to back. So as much as you're all excited about the Yankees right now, remember those years where we would go back to back into the World Series? That's how we're sort of feeling about this particular class that we all now in 7th grade here in Southern Middle School, because they increase their performance one year after another, which is typically not the stereotype we see in test scores. We also, at the elementary school level, when we look at performance over time, we are seeing increased students' participation rate as they rise from one grade level to the next. Okay. Come back in?
Sure.
Okay.
So
we're just going to kind of back and forth. There's a lot of data.
there's a lot of data here, exactly.
Yeah.
This is the template that was sent out by the state of New Jersey. They want us to report from the first year 2015 through 2017. So we're looking at numbers particularly from the middle high school, and you see these ridiculous numbers of reducing failures and increasing passing. Last year, from year 1 to 2, we saw tremendous improvement with a lot more buy-in from our students, and really, year 2 and 3, we saw sustained improvement. So really what you see those huge numbers, there's a reflection from that first year to the 3rd year. So you really start to see differences in years 2 and 3 when we get into more of the subgroup data, various populations in the school. But the overall 3-year returns are double digits, 46% improvement in passing for grade math. It's outstanding. What's even really more impressive than that is keep in mind when students get to 8th grade, that's when they start to separate. Some of your students are in 8th grade math, other students start to move into Algebra 1. So really it's a credit to mathematics department.
Right, and I would also say, it's exciting to sort of zero in when you see the increases from 15 to 17 on how many of our students are achieving at that level 4 and level 5. Because you tend to want to bring at the bottom, and then you worry about your students in the 1 and 2, but we always have to remember the students that are in the bubble, because they usually have that capability, and if you just zero in on what their needs are, we can actually help them achieve even greater. So we are starting to see some of that. This is indicative of the changes in level 1 and level 2 and level 4 and level 5 specifically. And when we look at numbers like this, we also want to imagine them as a cohort and how do they go over time, right? So if you're looking at grade 3 in level 1 and 2, are they, they're 19% of the kids in grade 3 in 2015. Then as they move to grade 4, only 12% of the kids are scoring in 1 and 2 in 2 years later, or 11 to 2 years later. But you can see as you go now, and then they're grade 5, they're at 10%. So think of cohorts and try to travel down, like on the right angle, and you'll see what grade they've been 2 years later. And then obviously also to the right now, that's the increase, they're decreased for levels 4 and level 5. So if you take grade 3, for example, at 58% in levels 4 and 5 in 2015, and 2 years later, we see they're at 64%. Just those 2%. So you're seeing increases over time. It takes time to look at these, and like for us to really sit here and go through them, it's like, thank you for your dissertation, Jana. But what we really want you to do is just take some time to wrap your mind and just spend time with it, because we enjoy that data. You know, we see numbers, we see children's faces, not really just percentages. And one of the things that, I know we mentioned this last year, but our grade levels, like our student population is small in our schools. So a 2% change or something like that, sometimes it's like one child, because there's no such thing as like 1.5 kids, right? So, or our student populations sometimes in the grade are really small. Like I know specifically last year, my 3rd grade had 28 kids. Years before, they had 48 kids. So the percentages are a little sometimes skewed because your population is larger one year than the next.
Something else to point out on this one too is that grade 11 is the last year, next to it, this is language arts. Something I'm impressed with this is with passing 4s and 5s for the last 3 years, a 13% increase. The asterisk means that the students that are taking advanced placement, 11 English, those are your highest achieving students, are not taking part. They get exempt for the state if they take the exam. So this tracks the top 10, 15 students who are taking the test, we're still seeing a tremendous growth for that.
So the first example we were showing you was in language arts, and then this is the same exact example in math. So everything we said to that really apply to this slide as well. And these are slides that indicate the quantity of students that participated. So if you go back, you can look at students in grade 3 in 2016, we had 135, and when you go when they are sitting in grade 4, it was 100. So this is a slide that shows you that participation is growing. This is right. This is again a 3 through 11 snapshot of the district in English language arts, and then across the board, how does the district compare to the state?
I highlighted grade 10 last year, that's the one we really have to work on. So it's the one grade that is not better state average. 2 years in a row, so it's on the radar. That's what's nice about looking at all this data. You can really start with the grade level and then break it down even further within each student's how to do it. Literally start falling in with your parents, have a conversation about what you do to achieve. Because clearly we're not reaching the level that we should. And we know. You see your class every day, what they're capable of, what they're putting into a class and discipline. Clear work.
And this particular slide actually compares grade level outcomes in math and language arts really in one slide. And we look at what percentage of our students are achieving at a 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these all break out by school. So one of the things that we are required to do by the state is that we present all of our data, not just the district, but that the public is also provided with an opportunity and the board to look at how are we comparing at each individual building, each school. So that's these light blue and yellow slides that address our school by school.
Something that's good about this information is that in addition to looking at your building specifically, you can look across the district and see how your building is related to the other buildings in the district. And then when we have conversations that are across the district, the teams can meet and talk about, well, what were you doing in grade 5 because you were scoring much higher in language arts in this area than our building. And these conversations can happen. So when you parse it out by building, you can actually see if there are segments of the building that might be stronger in something. And that's data we can use amongst ourselves, not just having building level conversations with college districts, right?
And then to take it even a step further, schools would look at data at our schools, specifically to our peer schools, not just comparing within Saddlebrook, but what about the schools that meet the demographic of our individual neighborhoods? Because as much as our schools may be different in town, we have very like schools outside of Saddlebrook. And in our school report cards every year at the back, it'll say who our peer schools are. So now we have our teachers wanting to go out and look for those other school state reports and say, hey, what are they doing? And what might be replicable, and that we can do in our schools as well, and look for some best practices. And we might also then in turn say, wait, here's an area where we're also achieving comparatively, and make us feel like we're kind of acknowledge where we are. And then these slides break out into subgroup information. We look to make sure that we don't have any major achievement gaps. We look, in particular, are our females out achieving our males in certain areas, and we do see that that is actually a trend in district, that our girls are out achieving our boys
All right.
in very, we were very happy with that. But I think it's something for us to really, I think it's not a sweep, but it is, it's not necessarily a sweep, but I think it's part of the conversation. When you look at, student participation rates and student activities, like what are we doing that are engaging our girls, then what we do we need to do to engage our boys. And then we look at obviously the different ethnic groups and economically disadvantaged and what services are they providing. We'll talk a little bit about that in the Title I funds, and obviously in the areas of special education. And then this breaks out, and these slides break out by school and by district.
I like the subgroup data because again, it's looking at last year or 2 years ago. It's last year. I'll point out the language arts and really, as Mr. Shank said, you see a real achievement gap. That's really light about this. The difference between our female and male students, particularly in language arts, 10% higher achieving on the high end and 10% less on the levels 1 and 2. Some of the other groups very small, so statistically it's hard to identify trends. Something else that is positive too is we are seeing improvement in some areas of our special needs program. Reducing levels 1, we're seeing students move growth. That's really the most important thing from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. And that's been happening over a long period of time, 3 to 4 years of aligning the curriculum, resource classes with other classes. So we're seeing a slow movement and the numbers that are showing. So there's a lot of good stuff here to look at when you have some time onto the websites. But there is parity between our male and female students, which I would point out. So that matters. I'll highlight the Alpha 1. You can see in terms of the Alpha 1 passing, boys and girls are essentially even. So in certain areas, girls are moving ahead, particularly the language component. We're not surprised about that. But in mathematics and areas, we're seeing some parity.
And there's some interesting data, even in the elementary school level, where you see the girls taking out achieving boys in math. And typically that was years ago, it was the opposite. But we're seeing it.
So last year, we want to kind of ask what are we doing next, right? We've had great results the last few years, but we're not content. We're always looking to improve results. One of the nice things different about this year from previous years is that each year we're getting information back earlier and earlier. So we got the information over the summer. It gives us time as a team to kind of digest it, and we're able to present ARC data to our staff on opening day. Where in the past it was not until October, November, December. You're halfway into your year already. So they really got to know their kids' strengths and weaknesses before they even got to know their kids in the classroom. So it's great to get that stuff out, and it's did a fantastic job in language arts and social studies, really helping them break it down. I was working with math and art, it was a stretch and I tried last but it was good to get it into their hands. They're using it in their assessments, they're using it in their student growth objectives, and all of the singular goal that we're trying to improve our programs. We added basic skills instruction in the middle school. Alpha 1 is kicking off as we speak. We're getting middle school language arts online, middle school math online, and then coming middle school language arts in the next 2 weeks. So we're really using that data to identify students, provide help with cracks, and what can we do really target instruction to help those students with the strengths that on model to do that. And finally, our professional development is really designed to improve our readiness. A lot of collaboration between language arts and social studies for literacy skills and document analysis. We take our local assessments and really model in that part. resources, Google Maps. We want the kids on their local assessments to see what they're going to see on parks, so that when they get there in May, it's like, what do I do here? Take away that anxiety, make it very familiar for those who actually sit and take this test. They're more successful. So, my goal is really helpful.
So, talking about even that, one of the things we wanted to emphasize that is when we really work with our teachers, we really focus on quality instruction. It's not about teaching to the test or drilling down to make sure that they increase in those scores. It's really about what types of quality instruction happen in our classrooms, and if we're doing that, our scores will be the results. So we are working this year with a literacy consultant to help us truly launch Readers in Writers Workshop. Shelley Klein is working with our teachers starting on the first day of school, and throughout this year, we are using district and Title I funds, or Title II funds, to help support that. Those efforts, district purchasing units of study and reading, which are supporting that curricular work. That's going to be ongoing through this year. We're hoping it's a long-term relationship, and we appreciate your support in all of that. We have also moved our teachers towards working with Nancy Schultz at Concord Math. Nancy is the, I would say, New Jersey perceives teachers, like if you go to Teachers College as an example for best practices, we go to Nancy Schultz for best practices in math. She works with numbers of districts throughout our state. Our teachers were really just first having the opportunity to work with Concord Math last year. We started with 2 grade levels, and now we've extended those grade levels into the elementary school, looking at really authentic problem-based math instruction. And one of the things that we do is we work with our grade level teams across the district, and we analyze the evidence statements. PARCC will give us results and say, how do the students achieve by standard? We've looked at that in the past and sat around with our colleagues and said, hey, what did you do so well to achieve such high scores in ratio? And maybe they say, we had a really cool project this year that the kids really sunk their teeth in it. But what we want to start to do is take that conversation a little bit deeper and look at those standards and those evidence statements over time. And this year really starts to look for trends. Like, are there certain standards where maybe not scoring as well in over time? And is there something that we have to really do to make some adjustments within our curriculum and some of our instructional plans? So that is going to be some ongoing work with teachers. And just like the high school has expanded basic skills, we've also expanded some of our basic skills programs at the elementary schools to increase our intervention. We've done that at Franklin and Smith in the past by maximizing opportunities in Title I funding, and then this year we did it also through some district funds for an extra part-time basic skills teacher at Will. And this is our second year in the Boost program for Title I programming at Smith and Franklin. These 2 schools meet criteria to receive Title I funding, and they are doing before and after school programs last year. They're buying new equipment, they're looking at assessments, and new interventions for their learners. So that's our action plan for the
That's slide 20.
In my
It's like 24 if you want to keep going.
we could keep going. It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of dedication of our faculty, and that we're very, very appreciative for all of our support efforts.
Thank you. So one of the next steps for me, just so you understand, Boost is a before and after school program under the Title I funds for both of those schools that up on there, Smith and Franklin. So that program, parents reach out to parents who fall into that category, have children that fall into that category. So we do have programs that start at 8:15 in the morning, and in the afternoon they start at 3:15. So it's meant to work there. The goal at the high school and middle school level was looking and even as other elementary schools, if we could do that, we're trying to embed something into the curriculum itself, which Jesse went over. And so the thing for me now is I would like to get a real good look at the Boost program and see, take some data from before the kids were involved in that program, the last round of testing, and compare it to this new 2 grades together, see if there's any growth. as you can see, it's very informative. I would like to get this up on the district website so parents can look at it at home, relax and take a look at that. Digest what it's all about. And I certainly want to thank Ms. Jenkins for bringing a nice talk about Title IX on how well the girls play.
That's very one, wasn't great.
So, you got all the titles. But, so we're going to, again, we look at this and we're working as hard as we can. I'm really happy to be part of this, coming in here last year. And I hope to see that this trend continues through the year and into the future. As you know, we've had our battles with budgets and things like that, but thanks to Mr. Bradley and the Board of Education, we shop the council, we use the races, and try to make things work. So it's happening. Thank you very much. And we're going to move into the regular session of our Board of Education.
If I could, one second. It's always nice when you guys come here with good news. And I want to thank you for your hard work, your dedication, because at the end of the day, the students reap the benefits of it. And thank you for your dedication to this district. And I'm looking forward to the new, to the things we have in place moving forward.
Moving forward.
But thank you guys so much for your dedication. It's truly appreciated. Thank you.
To the chair, I just have one question if I might.
Sure.
Before that, thank, again, all of the administrators, supervisors, and teachers for an incredible job moving this district forward academically. You have really put a huge push forward in the last few years, and we appreciate it greatly. So thank you for that. I just have one question. Looking at the fact that all of our quarterly assessments and SGOs are kind of based on the park, and I know the park is a huge part of how schools and school districts get rated as far as being successful. But are we managing to be able to do all of that towards the park without actually teaching to the tests? Are we being able to do that and avoid that at the same time?
Sure, it's an excellent question. The test part is modeled after the standards. So when we're aligning our curriculum with those new standards over the past several years, the test itself is testing those standards. So what does that mean in a quarterly assessment, for example, in math class? The types of problems that they would be taking on the test will be taken locally on a quarterly assessment on a similar type of platform. But again, in terms of the content, it's what they should be learning at that level. For example, we were talking last night about Alpha 1. So the assessments are really reflecting what should be being taught in the curriculum. On the humanities side, with language arts, what does that mean? For example, in a language arts class or a social studies class, they're working on critical reading skills, analysis, preparing various documents, doing research, simulation tasks. So it's all quality instruction, and the tests are trying to evaluate the students' progress in those types of skills. So technically, you want the local assessments to reflect what they're going to take to the park, but the instruction is, again, what a lot of things they're already doing, really high level types of skill building. We want to try to match the experience.
Thank you.
So I think it's not a secret at this point. I think all of Saddlebrook should know that this was, the town was listed as one of the 24 best places to live. And if you're not aware of that, then you can look that up online. It's the truth. And I'd like to think, that the school district and moving forward is helping that a little bit. And I certainly want to thank the entire staff from bus drivers, custodians, and teachers, our paraprofessionals, administrators. Everybody is a piece of that. For me, many times I talk about being all in, and I think we're all in. So it's happening, and hopefully we can maintain that and continue to see the schools grow along with the community and celebrate that. So thanks again. I just want to recognize, other people who were here to support. Dr. Santoro spoke for a minute, Director of Special Services. Susan Madison is Supervisor of Guidance and many other hats that she wears. Is anybody else? Mr. Gelber is always sitting here every week. Okay, so we glad to see him. And also from the staff too, we had Mr. Howard Weinberg. So, and Brenda, yes, we have Brenda and Kim Salmer right here, Brenda Coffey and Kim Salmer right here. And we'll talk about them in a minute. So, or two. So, all right, we're going to move on now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So moving on out to the actual agenda. On the student services, I'd like to present 1 through 6 in that category. If you have any questions, once again, please feel free to ask. 6. All of 4, numbers 6.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
No, I'm sorry. Any discussion? Any discussion on that?
Mrs. Morelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rennie?
Yes.
Mrs. Iarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Okay, moving on through B, curriculum instruction, technology, and program. We only have 2 categories there, so please review it. And again, any questions?
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Mrs. Morelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rennie?
Yes.
Mrs. Iarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
And on now to business and board. I want to put forward all of number 1. There's 37 categories in number 1. So just take a look at that once again.
A motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Mr. Brown?
Mrs. Morelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rennie?
I abstain from ID 14, yes,
Mrs. Iarelli?
Yes to all except
Mr. Accomando?
I too am going to abstain from 20, 21, 22, yes to everything else.
Under policy, it's our first reading.
Okay, I got that to the
Number 2. Do you want to go 2 through 12? Those categories. Sorry. Or the field trips, and then everything else listed up to number 12.
Can I get a motion? Any discussion?
Angela has it set.
Yes.
Through the chair, for number 12, I know we did our charter and everything, and then I was thinking, we added if the attempt fails to go to the president. I think it should say president or vice president, just in case one of the president or vice president is the person that is having a difficulty. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
Sure. That's fine with me. It seems to be allowed by again.
Yeah, no issue.
I thought of that, I'm like, oh, okay, what if, this way we cover everything. So I would say president or vice president.
Okay.
So, yes.
Any other discussion?
So Mrs. Iarelli, Mr. Quinn, motion second, agree on the revision?
Okay, roll call, Mr. Brown.
Mrs. Browley?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mrs. Iarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
policy.
To open the meeting to the public for comments on policy and regulations listed below. Anybody wish to motion?
So moved.
Anyone wish to comment on policy? Okay. Close the meeting to the public. Mr. Sherry.
Okay, so, what I'd like to share with you is that, we were having some discussion on a couple of policies, four specifically, and we spent some time with, Ms. Malone, one of our nurses over at Washington School, Dr. Santora, with some minor changes, to the way the actual policy was written to make it fit what we need here in Saturday. The first one, I believe you got received copies of this in the mail, but looking at the administering an opioid antidote, which is that Narcan, the one thing we included in this, besides the nurses being involved in this, would be the permission for police who are trained in this to actually come into the building and do that. There will be a specific amount of Narcan doses available for the district, and hopefully we never have to use it, but God forbid that happens, we will be prepared. So that's what happened with that policy. Moving on to bed bugs, all right. We were notified again, talking to nurses, and it's fair thing. They can't decipher quickly if it's bed bugs or an insect bite, so we put in insect bites. However, if there's insect bites or if there are bed bugs present on the student, now if someone obviously bed bugs present on the student, they would know that, see that. One of the things that none of us were comfortable with, because truly in schools we are not really able to go through possessions unless there's something that's egregious enough to make that happen or something for safety. So we took out the piece about going through backpacks and looking at all that kind of stuff. Basically, if a student has bed bugs on them, we're going to assume that there's an issue that has to be addressed. So nothing too complicated there. Even though I just want to point things out because we took the time to look at this. And again, let's see. Going to the one policy 8454, tuberculosis, which is actually head lice. We are going with option 2. We have 2 options there. So the presence of nits or eggs of lice will prohibit a child from attending school until the parent has provided proof of treatment to the school nurse and there's no evidence of nits in the student's hair. So we want to make sure that they're clear to be back here and that doesn't cause additional outbreaks of this problem. We also removed the section that said that it would be possible for students to come back to school once they went home and took care of the situation. But again, we're looking for the students to be clear at that time, to come back to school safely without creating any issues. That's pretty much it. But we do have on the options on page 3 of 4, there's an option that says that you have to reach out for parent approval to check students. We're not looking for parent approval. Basically, if we have an outbreak in a classroom with 2 or 3 students and there's 24 students, we're checking all 24 heads. So I think that's the right thing to do. Just wanted to make you aware. Okay. Other than that, we have all these policies 1 through 41. Yes.
Chair, if I may, just in case anyone doesn't know, there's always a copy of the policies and that here. If anyone wanted to review them.
And also, what's happening too is we did manage to get the policies online last school year, so as the new ones come or there's revisions made, those will also be updated on the online website of Board of Education.
We get a motion for the policies. So moved. Any discussion?
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zondarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Raccomando?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to negotiations. Number 1.
Get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Okay. Mr. Pratt?
Mrs. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Abstain.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Okay. In the personnel section, letter F, take a look please at numbers 1 through 15 for review, but I would like to speak for a few moments on numbers 8 and number 9. Number 8 is the appointment of Brenda Coffey, who is our middle school assistant principal currently, moving her to the director of curriculum position, director of curriculum instruction for the district. It's a position that I felt was really needed because you listened before to our principals. We talked about a lot of professional development. We're looking at a lot of different programs, and we truly need somebody that's going to be able to sit down and put that all together and decipher what we need, and most importantly, listen to the needs of the teachers in the classroom, and design that professional development to assist with that. Brenda's background, I could say, is prior to coming to Saddlebrook, she did a similar position in New York City, and a similar position also in Hackensack. So I feel strongly that she is the person for this position based on that information, based on the performance in the school that I have seen over the past year, and I strongly suggest that we support that recommendation on number 8. And now I will move to number 9 and talk about Kimberly Sawa, a biology teacher in this building, who's been doing a wonderful job, very energetic, very, very aggressive in the types of things that she wants to see done, has participated in some of the new work that's been with STEM and other initiatives that the principal has looked for the district, and certainly that we all support. However, the thing is, she's doing such a wonderful job in the classroom, but my feeling is, and I mentioned out in the hallway, is basically I can't stifle somebody who's doing a great job. So I really think that Kim would be organized enough and demonstrated some of her abilities with PD and other areas where, again, I strongly recommend this candidate. And for the both of them, I want to say this, my feelings are coming here just for a short while in Saddlebrook. I've noticed that there's been a lot of transition, people moving in, people moving out, and currently we have these 2 positions plus 2 people left. My feeling as a superintendent is that I want to see this district settle down and continue to grow, and you take people from within the district who have demonstrated that they're here for a while, they're very supportive, they take on the initiative to do things extra, and very, very effective. So that's my recommendation for those 2 positions that I felt I really needed to say.
Thank you, Mr. Sheik. Okay. Can I get a motion? Any discussion? I would like to discuss. Again, I would like to congratulate you 2 ladies. I know it didn't happen yet, but you guys are exactly what we need, because you take the pride in everything you do, like our principals, our vice principals, and other administrators. And thank you so much for your determination and dedicated service to this community. Look forward to working with you guys in the future. Any other questions? Mr. Rush?
Mrs. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli? Mr. Accomando?
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations.
Welcome aboard. We have a meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, a team meeting, and that's the truth. So moving on now.
I also like how we reward within the district, so thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I'd like to move ahead now with the personnel as well, numbers 16 through 30.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Abstain, number 23, item 4, yes for all votes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes, abstaining from item 23.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Okay, moving on now to complete section of personnel, numbers 31 through 36.
Need a motion? Any discussion? All right.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Abstain, 34, yes.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Abstain, 32, yes to everything else.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes. Committee reports out here yet?
I'll just review, we met on Monday with the curriculum committee with Mr. Morlow, Ms. Coffey, Dr. Santori, and Sue Madison, going over the high school programs coming up for the new elective year for this year and next year, for the curriculum, for CUSAC, professional development, for special education updates, and guidance programs. So we had a very informative meeting, so thank you guys for that.
Buildings and grounds?
Yeah, just the last time we met, we spoke about projects in the high school auditorium. We had lights installed over the summer. For the communication upgrades, they're about 98% completed. School messages are heard throughout the building, including in bathrooms, staircases, and large group rooms. There are new bathrooms for the Franklin School faculty. That's completed. A monitor was installed at the police station so that they can view what the cameras see at all the schools. And the interior classroom door replacements are in progress in all buildings.
Thank you. I think that's it. Policy just went over. Negotiations, I guess that's it. Any correspondence?
Just a reminder once again for the Saddlebrook Education Foundation will be hosting Taste of the Towns October 30th, which is a Monday night at the Marriott right down the road here. If you'd like to purchase tickets, I believe you get them online. You can stop by here. I have some in my office, some in the main office in this building. Certainly reach out. It's for a well-deserved cause here. That foundation has done wonderful things for our teaching staff, for our students, and we want to see that continue. So if you can, please join us on October 30th.
New business.
Whatever board members are attending the school board convention next week, I have a packet. You received them in front of you. That gives them all your instructions and itinerary for you. And I'll make the change on the team charter, and then I'll have it at the next meeting for everybody to sign, or committee meeting. Once you get ready to sign it, I guess we'll post it online.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. I'd like to open the meeting to the public.
Second.
One second. Residents are requested to state their names, address, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting exceeds 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5-minute durations. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded by the Board of Ed. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students, employees of the board, and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility nor will it be liable for any comment made by a member of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments.
Wonderful thing. First, he's a long-time staff member. We want to congratulate the board and for getting promoted from within. We have the best students in the city. About time. The second, as a grandparent in the community, I want to thank the board, Dr. Santara, for creating a preschool. Giving parents an option from a private preschool to a public preschool with certified teachers. It is a wonderful program. I like the low numbers because it benefits my grandson, but I hope more and more people take the service on. Wonderful, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks so much.
Anyone else? Like to close the meeting to the public? All in favor? To recess to close executive session to discuss negotiations and matters covered by the attorney-client privilege and HIV case per NJSA 10-4-6, Open Public Meetings Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need of confidentiality no longer exists. Action will be taken on the HIV case when the board reconvenes in open session. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?